Hey everybody, and welcome to the Nightly Grind. Tonight is April 28th,
August,
2017.
huh?
I really want it to be summertime.
I was gonna say, man, all week I've been putting all my approvals. I've been marking it 8 for some reason. I don't know why.
It's really
So,
nice out today too. It was very nice. Um, but today is still April 28th, 2017. We have a few items to discuss and a couple videos to watch. First up, we have some Nintendo news. There's currently
boy,
a rumor that the Nintendo will be releasing a Super Nintendo Mini later this year, which may be the reason why they discontinued the regular NES Classic or Mini
which
or
will
whatever
be
it's called.
it'll be fantastic because what they'll do is they'll release 10 of them, and then they'll be everybody will look for them, and then nobody will ever get one,
And then
and then
they'll
they'll
release
discontinue
the
it. And
N64
64,
next
yeah.
year. Yeah, their plan is coming together perfectly.
They'll keep going until they get to like the Switch, and then they'll just release like 100,000, hoping it'll do better.
The Switch Mini. Well, they
Yes.
released they sold like 2.3 million Switches this last month. They're absolutely killing it right now on Switches. But yeah, the Super NES Mini doesn't matter to me. I already bought a Raspberry Pi. Screw them, as far as I'm concerned on that one. But yeah, so that should be around Christmas time. In other Nintendo news, they have officially announced the quote, and this is the official title of the product, the new Nintendo 2DS XL, which will be released July 28th for $150. New Nintendo 2DS XL. The naming conventions on this thing have gotten out of hand. I feel
Didn't they already have a 3DS?
they have a new 3DS XL.
So are they just taking the 3D out of it to make it cheaper?
Yes, essentially. They had a 3DS and a 2DS previously. Then they had an
It's 1/3 DS off.
and then they had a 2DS XL. Or did they? No, just a 3DS XL, I think. Then they made a new 3DS XL, and now they're making a new 2DS XL.
See if Benton's was here. He's probably listening, just yelling at the screen.
Yeah. I know most people don't use the 3D, I think. My nephew has one. It doesn't really do much for me.
It
He
doesn't
use
function really all that well.
Yeah. I mean, it's
See, I
it's
saw
a
it when they
novelty
first
thing.
came out, and it was pretty cool, but
Yeah.
it'll make you sick if you use it too long.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if you have it set too high. Yeah. If you can set it like a little bit, and it's kind of neat. But yeah, I would use it in 2D 99%. I don't think there's any. Is there any games that actually utilize the 3D, like as an
I
aspect
think
of the
they
game?
have some of them, but it's cliche at best.
Vomit simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're in, it's getting kind of long on the development cycle for the DS.
Believe it or not, though, it's still one of their most.
Oh yeah,
It's
still a lot
gold.
of them. Yeah.
It's one of their best selling products, and it still has a ton of support.
I think they sold
So,
1 million of the 3DS last month or something, or
yeah,
maybe around
it's
Christmas time.
it's a
Yeah, it's still huge numbers.
huge thing. It's probably
Yeah.
one of the biggest money makers Nintendo really has.
It's kid.
So,
It's a kids. You know. The
no,
kids
not just
system.
not really just for kids,
No,
but
I know,
it's
but
just
a lot of kids use it, and that's probably one of their biggest markets.
for classic gamers, like especially gamers who enjoyed like JRPGs and the element of that. That's the place to play it. They have on all the classic game companies and JRPG companies pretty much release everything onto the 3DS. A lot of the games that really have been popular recently, like Bravely Default and some of the other games that have come out, were originally DS titles that got transitioned over to other consoles. So it's an unbelievably powerful or not powerful, but it's an unbelievably popular platform. It's insane, and it's even more popular in Japan.
Profitable.
Well, profitable, but I mean
Yeah.
popular in general. I mean, it's a moneymaker. So
Yeah, no, they're definitely selling a lot of them. I'm just surprised that it's lasted so long. I guess what's the difference? If you're making money, why sell something new when people are buying it? No problem. I mean, compared to like the Vita, it's a kid's toy.
So will all the games that work on the 3DS that aren't 3D work
Compared
on the
to, like,
2DS?
the Vita,
3DS and 2DS games work interchangeably, no problem.
yeah, but you also compared to like the Vita, it's still unbelievably viable.
Oh
and
yeah,
people
no,
still
it's a
make shit
viable
for
system,
it. The
absolutely.
Vita is kind of.
It
it's not
seems more
bad,
adult
but-
to me. That's my interpretation of it. I don't own either of them,
No.
so take that as you will.
Oh, well, there's probably a reason for that.
Why I don't own either?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not really a mobile gamer. It's not
there
my-
you go.
It's not my deal. So IGN got a first look at the new Shadow of War game, the Shadow of Mordor sequel.
Mhm.
There was a whole crap load of information in there, and I tried my best to sort of condense it down to a few talking points. The big point of it was that weapons are getting a very large overhaul. There's going to be epic weapons, which you get from epic enemies, that have challenges associated with them that unlock better stats. The one that they showed was an epic dagger. You have You have a sword slot, a dagger slot, a range slot, armor, cape, and then you get runes, which you put on the Ring of Power. Setting aside the fact that there's a Ring of Power in this game. So they showed an epic dagger. The dagger had a 5% chance to apply fire when you do a stealth kill. And if you do a stealth kill on an enemy who
to apply fire to a thing you've already killed.
or I think it's
oh,
just a
I
stealth
have
attack.
to have
It's
that.
probably just a stealth attack. I must have misinterpreted or wrote something down wrong. But so the challenge on the weapon is if you do a stealth kill on an enemy who is currently on fire, then you unlock a 25% increase in stealth damage to enemies who are on fire, which is kind of a neat little addition to the game.
If memory serves me correctly, they already had a system like this built into the last game.
They seemed like it was new. I never played the last one.
The last game had a very intricate rune system built into it for customizing your swords and your weapons,
They
but it
talked a
didn't
little
have
bit about
switch
stuff
it out.
like that. Yeah.
It didn't have any kind of unique thing.
This is like
I would be
this is
kind
like on top
concerned
of
with
the
that.
normal, leveling of the weapon. Is
Yeah.
these little, like side missions on the
So
epic
you can like
weapons.
unlock these, or you find these weapons or some shit like
right?
that.
Yeah, epic.
That
Epic,
concerns me.
epic monsters will drop them.
So that concerns me to a point because I like Diablo-like games, like the loot like hunting games and such, but there are games that it doesn't necessarily function well. And
Yeah.
to me, I don't like the idea of having. I like the fact that a sword is a sword is a sword. You can like make yours more unique, but it's I'm a little bit concerned with the whole aspect that they might have some kind of system built into the game and that it screams, oh boy, DLC. If you want the newest, shiniest weapons, insert that credit card. And that kind of really does concern me a tad bit. So,
Unlock your chance to get new epic drops.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's just that does bother me a tad bit. I don't know if that really, to me, that game didn't need that type of a new weapon system. The aspect that you were a ranger and the weapons you were using were your weapons kind of really fits a little bit more into the Lord of the Ring mold. Even though some of the characters found their legendary weapons, this character already kind of had his,
Mhm.
and I don't know. To me, it doesn't work. But on the other hand, they're kind of fucking Tolkien's lore in the ass. So I mean,
yeah, with the Ring of Power, everything's out the window as far as I'm concerned.
they've already pretty much said, yeah, it's based in the Lord of the Rings world,
Yeah,
but it doesn't really have anything to do with Lord of the Rings.
yeah. There's orcs and things like that.
Except for
Yeah,
the Ring of Power.
right.
Just because at the end of this,
and
when
the
you
names.
actually kill Sauron, just
They talked about having gems that you can slot into epic weapons. As you gain like a currency, you can unlock the gem slot. They showed potency, which is extra damage, vitality, and wealth gems. Vitality, clearly health or something like that, and wealth must be you get more currency as you kill things, is my guess. But they didn't actually show them.
Why would you need currency in the game?
I don't know. Well, one of the currencies was to open up the gem slots.
Well, there might be currency in that world.
But see, the thing with the whole running premise of the first game was more or less you were a revenant, you were already dead. You were brought back to life by an ancient elf spirit that kind of
Mhm.
basically sealed your soul. So you were more or less a dead man already. You had already died.
I can already tell you why I didn't play the first one.
Don't get me wrong. The first one was
First one was
awesome.
fun looking, yeah.
The first one was
Watched a lot of
awesome. But the whole premise of the game is that you were already dead, and you were more or less in Mordor, just wrecking, just tearing shit up, and being a nuisance. So the whole thing is that there was no, you didn't have to worry about anything. You were just kind of there, and that way you didn't need you had to do. I think there was some resource farming and stuff like that for like crafting, but it was very limited, and it was there was like no money involved and shit like that because there was what were you going to do? You know what I mean? It was, you were there to kill things and cause havoc, So I wonder what they're doing with this game, if they're building in like a town system or something where you.
I'm sure we're gonna find out.
And that like I said, that kind of takes it away from. That would be. I'm still interested, but it does concern me a tad bit because it's like you're trying to turn the game into something else. Focus more on that Nemesis system. Stay away from trying to make it like every other fucking game,
Well, yeah, I mean, there still is a Nemesis system. This was sort of showing off their new things.
Yeah.
It's more robust.
Yeah.
More robust, which just basically means more of the same.
They talked about runes that have
robust,
that are a system within the Ring of Power.
It's a keyword.
And they also, the
One
volume is a
ring
bit
to
down on
one.
my mic. Let's try that. And they also.
Your volume is low, man.
Yeah, I turned it up just now. They talked about set bonuses on items, and as you get like 2 and 4 items in the same set, you gain extra things on top of that. So some cool things in there. Move my mic too. But that was pretty much the gist of it. Let's see. There's going to be a new Jackbox Party Pack 4 coming out in the fall, which will include Fibbage 3. My question is that too many Jackbox in too short a period of time? The last one came out not that long ago. 6 months? Something like that?
What other games are going to be in there?
They nothing else that they said.
Yeah, if it was a complete different games in the last set, I think adding more cards and things to games that are already out there is fucking joke. They should just do that. They shouldn't make a new game to do that.
Yeah, but they couldn't charge $20 for the next Jackbox.
That's my
The
point.
last one had ways that you can make your own questions and everything too. So
Yeah.
I doubt that it's going to be all new cards and things like that. They've already kind of screwed themselves out of that, more or less.
Yeah.
But every Jackbox Party Pack has had a bunch of different games, like new
Yeah,
games.
no, yeah, absolutely.
Decent games.
So, yeah.
The differences between 2 and 3 are pretty stark.
They definitely be getting more robust with their games too, and adding a lot more features to them. I mean, if you look back to the the first Party Pack, it was just straight game. And if you look at the last one, like especially like with games like Fibbage and what was the other one we generally played?
The T-shirt
That
one?
trivia one,
The trivia. Yeah, it's one of those things where they've added a lot more features to the game.
Mhm.
the T-shirt making game.
The t-shirt making
is fun.
game is fucking awesome.
That's fun.
So.
And the murder
The murder party is awesome
That's
too.
a good
yeah.
game. Yeah. No, they've had good games, but it's a quick turnaround between 3 and 4. 2 and 3.
I
is a
think
few
so.
years,
We'll
I
see
felt
what they're
like.
adding. Another Fibbage is just,
Yeah. That's sort of
But
status
we'll see
quo.
what other games. I mean, the last one they added, still had a Fibbage, I believe, in there, and then the other 3 games were completely new. You had the T-shirt one, you had the spy one, and then you
The
had
artwork one.
Yeah, that's
Oh
Quibbits.
yeah.
Quibbits is also another
Quibbits.
awesome fucking game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that'll be on the fall. I'm sure we'll pick it up and play it. So it's worth mentioning. Here's an interesting one. Dota 2 is now requiring you to use your phone number to attach it to your account to play ranked games. And this to cut down on players having multiple accounts, mostly Smurf accounts. Excuse me. Valve released a new update which now has a requirement that asks players to register a phone number to play in ranked online multiplayer matches. Interesting. Yeah, it's a very interesting idea. I think it's in South Korea where your social security number is tied to your account. I think partly because like minors can't be playing after
That's
a
some
certain period of
serious shit
time.
right there.
Yeah, I think minors can't be playing after a certain time, so they have to use their social security number to lock them out.
gaming in
essentially.
South Korea is a completely different beast than
Yeah,
America.
it is very different.
Gaming in South Korea is a legitimate pro
Serious.
sport.
Yeah.
So it's so big it's part of their economy. I mean it's
Yeah.
it's legit.
Yeah, it's very legit.
I like the idea. I think it's interesting. I mean, it would definitely help with the Smurf accounts, and it would definitely help for newer players that want to actually learn how to play the game, not completely
It's
getting
for ranked.
destroyed.
It's only for ranked.
Only
You
for
can still
ranked,
play
yeah.
normal games without any issues. You can
I'm
still
not
stick with normals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying it definitely helps. I mean, how many we've all known and heard stories, and especially with the league community, where you have people that literally will do everything they can to stay in bronze,
Yeah.
or have Smurf accounts to just bash
To
bronze.
just smash on, yes,
Yeah.
lower
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
So they'll win like 4 games and then lose 5. Just throw them, so they can just basically constantly stay in that lower thing, so they can just smash on new players or lower ranked players and feel like they're fucking achieving something.
Yeah.
So
Or for streaming purposes, or a whole host of reasons.
yeah. So I mean, I'm all for it. I think it's a damn good idea. I'd
It's
like
really
to see
interesting
League
idea.
do something along them lines. It would also make for League particularly. Steam is a little different because since Dota, well, I'm not sure if Dota has an account where it's directly attached to your Steam account. I'm not sure if it's an actual secondary
I can't
login.
remember.
Yeah, I played it a little bit, but I can't remember
Yeah.
where League is. But it would be nice for that too, because that would actually mean ban hammers and people getting in trouble mean something.
Yeah.
Because you can just, it's a throwaway account. You just, I'll make another email. Oh,
Right.
I have a new account. So I mean, it
I
would.
have to change my
It's,
cell phone number. Or
yeah, I
whatever
mean,
you
it's
use for it. Yeah.
but that's a little bit more robust than. Well, this account's next
Right.
email.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's just that has a little bit more lasting sting and a little bit more.
Yeah.
It means something. Your account means something again.
They
Especially on a
also-
free game.
I don't know if you read through that entire article. I know that they also said that you can change your phone number, but after you change it, you have to wait like a month or 2 months
It's
before
like
you
3. Yeah, it was like
back.
3 months. Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't change it just, and constantly and make new accounts.
Yeah.
Once you use it, it's basically blocked for being used again for 3 months.
So I know me and Torn are like old school with like if you're caught cheating, you're GID'd.
Hmm.
Or it's like literally you're fucked. So I personally like to go back to that kind of mentality.
Go ahead and reinstall.
Yeah, go ahead and reinstall. Yeah. Granted, hard drives are a shit ton cheaper than they used to be back in the day.
Yeah. Unless
But,
it's your solid state or something.
And most people are going to have multiple hard drives, so you could
Right.
just switch your install file to a different hard drive and kind of,
Yeah.
get around that. But it's still one of those things where I think it's a decent idea. I mean, shit.
No,
It
it's I'm interested to see how it works. Over time.
And it goes back to that the only downside, well, like I said, the only downside possibly, I'm sure nobody can really have access to it unless they're stupid, which most people are stupid, so yeah. The whole aspect of you're no longer anonymous.
Yeah.
You have a phone number attached to your account, so
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're going to be a complete dick, you might be getting a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning. And people like Saul will be able to find
We
out
need
where
to
you
talk.
live.
I don't know about that.
I don't do that as
Yeah.
much anymore.
I
So-
guarantee somebody's going to get a hold of that list of numbers.
Yeah,
Just-
it
and that's-
better be very secure.
And I could, yeah, but come on. It's how many people, I would guarantee everybody that does, well, if it is out there, they would probably find their information on Facebook and
Yeah.
more shit that you'd ever even want to find out other than their phone number.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Worst case
So-
scenario, I'd rather somebody find out my phone number than my email address or something.
All I can think of is
Or your social
any-
security number.
Yeah.
everybody's probably suited, but like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, the end of the movie where they're going around door to door with the movie review or the comic reviews or whatever it was. They're like, "Are you so and so?" And they're kicking the living shit out of people for writing bad reviews or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. That would be poetic. So.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
I don't know. Some people need to get their ass kicked and just
Some people
I
need to
felt
get
like a
an answer,
dream,
but
Kenny.
I don't think vigilante justice is the way to go about this.
I'm not saying hurt
For a
them
video
seriously.
game.
I'm not saying hurt them seriously.
Don't do that, folks. Don't do that at all. That's a bad idea.
Let's move on. in other somewhat Korean related news, since we were talking about South Korea, there was a new update. The newly updated and refreshed StarCraft, including Brood War, is now available for free. We talked 4 weeks ago about them updating, Brood War with updated graphics and everything, and now you can get it for free. I've never
So-
actually played StarCraft in my entire life.
South Korea had a holiday.
That's exciting. I like
They had a
StarCraft.
StarCraft holiday.
I wouldn't be surprised.
StarCraft was enormous. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
it's-
original esport that got big.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's why South Korea is essentially ahead of the rest of the world in all esports at this point.
Well,
because
what year
StarCraft
was
set
this?
them up. What was that?
What year was this?
Ooh,
Early 2000s.
yeah.
I was busy lifing at that point.
No, you were playing America's Army.
I was busy playing America's Army at that point.
Yeah. I looked up StarCraft release date and it said 2017.
You weren't lifing. You weren't lifing. You were griefing with the 203. Okay.
First release
That wasn't my gig.
1998.
There you go.
Nearly 20 years. We're coming up on 20 years in a year. So it's an old game.
Maybe a 20-year anniversary, they're going to do something
Well,
new.
in other news, a lot of people are saying that the new Dawn of War 3 reminds them way too much of StarCraft.
Yes. Did anybody play the beta last week?
I did not get a chance.
I got into it, but I wasn't here. I did hear a lot of people complaining it was like a MOBA, but that's just because there was two bases, I think, and that's
There's a
and
gentleman.
what RTS do you play that isn't destroy the other team's base?
Yeah, but that's kind of like there's two bases. Dear God, any 1v1 RTS is going to have two bases.
Right, exactly. And there's towers around it.
Just
Okay.
because MOBA is very popular right now doesn't mean that every video game ever made is based on a MOBA.
And MOBAs were born out of an RTS, so yeah, they're gonna be like one another.
Yeah, because MOBAs were born out of a Warcraft 3 mod, which
Right,
ironically
exactly,
is
yeah.
also made by Blizzard. There's a gentleman I like watching a lot. His name's Arch. He does a lot of Warhammer stuff and lore videos, and he did a review on it, and I watched. And he said everybody here, I think maybe, well, so, yeah, you have too, Saul, has played a lot of the Relic games. I've always been a huge fan of Relic Studios. Company Heroes is probably still one of my favorite RTSs, and Dawn of War has always been something I've enjoyed. But everything that's kind of made Relic games with like the more realistic combat, the cover system, that kind of stuff, it's all gone. It's basically now just a pure StarCraft style game with no cover system. He basically said his biggest concerns with the game were it has really horrible snowballing, where as soon as one person or one team gets an advantage, it just completely goes out. There's no way to recover from like a bad start. And his biggest thing was, as he said, it's blob tactics. It's all about creating the largest units possible and moving them across the battlefield. That's pure StarCraft to a point with Zerg. And I mean, yes, I understand there's a completely different level of competitive play and all that, but it's a really horrible thing considering that that's definitely not the way Relic games have played in the past. It's all a bit about strategy and flanking and using the right units, the right locations, and
Yeah, you make movements forward and you make movements backwards. It's
You
all
and I
about
played God of War
readjusting and
very differently.
Yeah. For example, Bone, when he plays Company Heroes, will
I was in the back.
Generally make 500 tanks and Calliopes, and you can stop that with one anti-tank gun and a few troops with rockets. So
Not when the whole entire Earth around him is scorched, though.
Yeah, but I remember playing you that one night, and I held your ass for like an hour with like 4 troops and 1 anti-tank gun.
And
So
what
it was in
eventually
ruins.
happened, though?
I eventually lost, but it was still the aspect that you literally would attack me with a wave of tanks, and then you'd retreat with like your 2 Calliopes, which were the only thing usually that survive because you would never engage with them. And then your like few troops, your engineers, which you were using to run up there and try to demine the bridges that I had mined. So
and all of this reminds me of StarCraft because
it's completely different.
Oh, yeah, we were
It's
talking about RTS.
Yeah, it's StarCraft's. Once you get to a certain point in StarCraft, it can really just kind of go out of control. There are strategies and stuff like that, but it's usually a really strong phasing game where it's like you phase 1, you're starting up equipment, phase 2, and then phase 3 where it's all your end game stuff. And Company Heroes, even your phase 1 infantry and stuff like that, if you upgrade them properly with the right weapons, they can still be extremely, if not more effective late game if you have them with if you actually give them experience and they actually rank up, which is also something else they supposedly removed from Dawn of War 3, which is there's no longer a veterancy system built into the game. So there's no reason to save your troops. It's just charge them into the guns.
Well, I thought the one thing I was reading was people were putting bases or buildings further forward so that the troops could retreat to them and restock their, rather than build new troops all
He
together.
he basically made the comment that there is no individual unit retreat anymore. It's now global retreat.
Oh,
So you cannot, like, where yet again, relic games, if you have an infantry unit that's taking some damage, you could retreat them back. Now,
Yeah.
if you retreat, everything retreats. And he
mm,
said it's like you do not use that button because you pretty much give up the entire battlefield at that point.
right.
So it was a really in-depth video. He really broke it down, and he kind of said he loves the Warhammer. The whole he's a Warhammer nut, but it just he's like it was one of these games where it's like he'll probably buy it, but it's definitely not the game he
Expected.
wants,
Yeah.
and the game that you would expect from Relic. He really said it felt like they really kind of went in a different direction.
I linked something
And-
in chat. I'm not sure if that was it. I took a guess.
Yep, that's him.
Yeah.
This guy, I love this guy. This guy's fantastic. Arch is awesome. But yeah, he really goes into breakdown and shows a lot of stuff. And like I said, he said his biggest concerns with the game are it's how easily it is to snowball. It's like soon as it's basically it becomes a pure battle of attrition, and as soon as you start getting an upper hand, it's there's no way to recover. It's like he said most of the matches he played during the beta weekend, once one side got an advantage, it was pretty much done. So, and that's kind of, I don't know. One thing it really harbors to a quicker game, which maybe that's their thought
like their point,
process.
yeah.
But at the same exact time, it kind of takes away it's like once you get to a certain point, you're going to lose. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So, and that's just that
There's
kind
no
of like
catch-up mechanic.
yeah. He said even the catch up. Yeah, exactly. There's no way to recover from a bad mistake or a bad decision. And he said it's the snowball effect. As soon as it starts rolling downhill, there's no way to stop it. You're going to lose. So
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that was on the list to talk about, and that was a very natural way to get into the Dawn of War 3 discussion.
There you go.
So, Facebook has released Facebook Spaces on the Oculus Store. The free application, which is entering into open beta phase, is the company's attempt to integrate your social network with virtual reality.
This is working so well for Facebook as of lately. How many people have killed themselves on Facebook Live in the past 3 weeks?
Or it's killed others.
Or killed others, yeah.
Yeah,
Mostly
I
killing
mean,
others.
we just had somebody this past week commit suicide on Facebook Live in Dundalk, which is like less than 5 miles from where I live. So
This is you create an avatar, and you
Which
sit
is freaking creepy.
and.
They look off.
Thank you for that. And you sit at like a table, and you can do very limited things from what I could tell. What didn't look that exciting at all. You'd think they would, since it's their program or their platform, you'd think they'd have like this bangbuster program coming out for it, and didn't.
It probably comes with a very limited amount of apps and stuff. You can do like calendars
It
and
just didn't seem that exciting.
You know, I think it kind of depends on how you're actually looking at it. If you're looking at it as something where it's like, hey, look at everything I can do now, it's not going to be like that. But if
Yeah.
you're looking at a way to enhance your voice chatting,
Yeah.
or, they were showing that you can show pictures and make it look like you're actually going through a cruise or something. I mean,
boy,
it's interesting.
we've
It's interesting. No, it's
evolved to the
interesting.
next level of the
but
picture
if you
slideshow,
look-
folks.
But if you look at
it's
it
gonna
as
happen. Just
a
let it happen.
virtual reality chat thing as opposed to, hey, look at this game and all this stuff I can do, it gives you a different perspective.
Yeah.
It just
I
adds
don't know
a new
how you
level
make
of
it any
twist
more
to that.
exciting. Yeah.
It'll
I don't know
really
how you
make the
it more
virtual
exciting.
sex more realistic, folks.
Well,
That's where we're headed. Let's be honest with ourselves.
yeah, that's definitely where we're headed. It's probably going to be like you can go on virtual tours and shit together, and you could do a lot of things with it. It's just, but I mean, I
It is
don't know.
still in the beta phase, too.
Gimmick.
Yeah, it's still beta. You're right.
It's still beta.
Is it free? I didn't see if there was a cost. That's the one thing I couldn't find.
There is a cost to it. I don't remember how much it is. But it does have a cost, and you have to use an Oculus with it.
Ooh.
Yeah, 100%.
Proprietary.
Oculus, yeah. Well, they own Oculus now, so.
Proprietary.
That makes sense.
I actually just got my hands on trying a VR headset this past week. One of the guys I work with got one, and he brought it in so he could show it off. I was not really all that impressed, to be completely honest. Was it interesting? Yeah. it was, but maybe it's the fact I'm a gamer and I've been seeing the kind of stuff. I mean, granted, it's three virtual type setup, but it wasn't anything to me that was like mind-boggling.
I don't know, man.
A few people were like freaking out over it, and I put it on and was saw the same thing. And I mean, it was interesting, but it was not like it from a standpoint of using it. I just didn't think it was.
Which one was this?
It was basically the cheapo fucking one that you can get up with the new Samsung's fucking 8s or whatever.
The phone ones, yeah.
Yeah, the fucking Super Duty, not
you
the
can have like a shark jump out at you kind of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, I mean, it was interesting. It's like I've seen two of them so far. One was like a Jurassic Park thing, and it was a giant brontosaurus. And
that's not even the same thing, though.
Yeah,
to be
it's
honest,
like a cheap ass version of it. Yeah.
Oh, it's a cheap ass version. I'm not saying, but I mean, it definitely.
Dude, the videos that have been going around of that new Star Trek game, Star Trek something Bridge.
Yeah, it looked interesting.
That looked amazing. That's one of the best.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's a multiplayer.
I would do that for sure.
Where everybody can have a different job, on the bridge.
On the bridge, it's great. Dude, Angry Joe posted a video.
That's right.
Dude, it was so good.
Yeah. That's those types of niche ideas are what's going to sell them at the end of the day. I feel like you're just going to have to be a huge game.
That Star Trek game could propel the idea of VR gaming far. It really could. It is well done.
So I just looked it up as far as the cost.
Yes, I couldn't find it.
There's nothing listed as far as the cost. I thought that there was.
Yeah.
Just your soul.
But they are saying that they may put ads like billboards and stuff up in the background in order to pay for it.
Dude, I think the next kind of jobs that are going to be out there are going to be people just using that kind of thing and watching ads. There'd be like ad jobs are going to be big in VR and
ad jobs, huh?
Ad jobs where you just constantly are inundated with ads that you have to deal with.
And like Idiocracy when he's watching TV and you see the TV screen like this and it's just ads all the way around.
Like 600 things of ads, just this tiny screen.
What was it? Wasn't there a Black Mirror episode where they had to watch ads to get points or something like that? I forget what it was. Yeah, I think it was Black Mirror. It was like they lived in this virtual world, and to get points, they had to watch ads, and they were always, of course, sex ads.
Dude, if you could figure out a way to capitalize on that, you make a lot of money.
I don't think the Facebook thing's gonna catch on. I don't think any of that'll catch on. I said it today at work after I looked at the stupid VR thing again, and I said again, it's the porn industry is going to be the one that pushes the fucking technology. They're going to be the ones that make the money off of it, and they're the ones that are going to make it viable. Because
they're always on the cutting edge.
They're going to, because it's technology that screams what they want. It's the next step from them. They've really pushed tech over the past 20 years with streaming, and I think it's VHS to a point even.
Home videos, VHS.
So I mean, it's
online streaming.
Everybody else is kind of like doing the little gimmicky crap to it. The porn's going to be the one. They're going to be the people who are like, hey, let's take it to the next level. We got a lot of money. It ain't like we can fucking worry about it.
I'm telling you, watch that new Star Trek VR. That is amazing. That's going to be.
I'm not saying it's not, but I'm still going to go back to the original thing. One of the main issues that they have is that it's all proprietary. It's like with the Facebook, you have to have an Oculus Rift to it, so you're limiting your market right off the bat.
Oh yeah.
It's not even. You're not really helping saturate the market. The porn industry is
not
going to give a shit. They're going to be like, hey, here, fuck, dude.
You know how many people use Facebook every day?
Yeah, the Vive
I'm not saying that it's the aspect of how many people use Facebook every day. What I'm saying is that not everybody that uses Facebook is going to own an Oculus Rift
or a computer that can run it,
or a computer that's going to run it. It's the aspect of it. They're limiting their market value by only producing.
But if they can show that people want to use that technology by people hopping on board and buying Oculuses to use Facebook, that's going to propel things forward.
It's not just that. It's that that Oculus is just a jumping off point. I mean, there's going to be several other virtual reality things that are going to come out.
Social is going to take off. Facebook is going to be one of many social VR.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
I'm sure that
the only game in town.
I'm sure that Tom had a lot of ideas what he wanted to do with MySpace before Facebook came along and shit all over him. So, it's one of those things where right now Facebook is riding high on the hog, but Facebook's going to have some serious legal issues if people keep killing themselves streaming.
Well, that's what happened
So-
to Own TV. They had someone kill himself on it.
Yeah, so they got some bigger problems right now than they're probably really want to dive into.
Yeah, but you get people inside of a VR app using an avatar. That takes away the.
Yeah, it's not a live video.
And then
Yeah, it's not on here.
you're going away from Facebook being who you are, and you're starting to become an avatar and something that you're not. Not that anybody really is completely honest on Facebook to begin with.
Who said that's not where it's gonna go?
But what I'm saying is that Facebook right now has a lot of money and can do a lot of stuff. But Facebook, the way things are going right now, and it seems to be growing exponentially, they're gonna have some serious legal issues over the next few years.
Maybe.
They're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Just think of all the copycats that are
It's
gonna start
not
picking up
exactly
and
their
doing it.
fault that people keep killing themselves on Facebook.
Yeah,
I mean, they could do that on Twitch too.
There was a thing, I think it was on NPR, they were talking about how Google has algorithms where they can recognize a weapon or hostile activity, and they could utilize that. And even if it got sent to somebody to review, or immediately shut it down until they were approved or something like that. There's ways, there's technology ways around those types of things.
No one knew YouTube Red was going to be used for that.
It's the simple fact. What I'm saying though is that you even with the technology that Google has, Google does own YouTube. The last time I checked, correct?
Yes, they own YouTube.
YouTube is currently being under attack dramatically by sponsors and people that are attacking YouTube, particularly for the content and the advertising that's going on beforehand. Much of that is legitimately YouTube's fault, and very rarely it's not like they're assigning things particularly. It's just all chosen randomly, and they're having legal issues with that right now. I can easily see that being used against Facebook. That same line of logic for Facebook. It's not a question of whether or not Facebook has liability to it. It's a question
That
of whether or not
YouTube thing's a
Facebook is
whole
making
different
money.
thing, though.
And if you want to get tinfoil hatty about it, who were the people that brought up the issues with the ads playing on these controversial channels? Is other news agencies,
Which are doing it because
yeah. So
They're feeling
there's
The thing that bugs me about the whole
There's some
YouTube
tinfoil
thing
hatness in there,
it sets up the idea that certain things have value and certain ideas do not have value. If they fall into line with one ideal, it has value and it creates currency in it, and it's it's worth adding on. But if it doesn't go with popular opinion, or it's controversial, or it's talking about something that people are no longer talking about because they can't get ads on YouTube, if they do, then it's like that has no value. We're not going to promote it. Free speech and information, and I hate that idea that some things will have value based on what the content is, and some things will not.
Well, I think it's not even the aspect of value. It's that somebody somewhere gets to choose what has value and what doesn't, depending on their point of view.
My point.
Yeah.
we're getting way off
So yeah, we are off topic. But I'm gonna go back. I'm just saying, go back to Facebook. The main thing is that right now it's becoming. There's been a lot of people doing it, and there's a lot of things going on. It's kind of growing more common. And if the problem is that it becomes a sort of it kind of gets into a psychological aspect where is it becoming more common because people are doing it more often, or is it becoming more common because people are seeking the attention that they're seeing the other people are getting? And it's just it could definitely it's a really bad can of worms. Facebook has already got a really bad psychological rap in some aspects because of the aspect that people constantly seeing other things going so well, and it can be a very, very bad thing for certain individuals. I just think Facebook's got some real. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because a lawyer somewhere is going to start looking into it from a legal standpoint, and how culpable Facebook is to what's going on. They may not have direct control over the individual, but you got some serious shit when you have a guy hanging his 2-year-old child and then killing himself on live stream. You have a very, like I said, the one that just happened this past week in Dundalk, she literally killed herself with the police in the room.
Oh my gosh.
So it's this is somebody that's going, I'm suicidal and I'm going to do it live.
Yeah.
And it's giving them a opportunity to do so. And now like I said, we're kind of in the new ground here, because the aspect to be able to stream anywhere at any time is fantastic. And this is kind of the dark side to it. and we're kind of looking at the morality of that. And I mean, somebody somewhere is going to make a decision, and
That's why I'm wondering if maybe we're going to see a shift to a different kind of social media. Where things are a little more controlled environment.
Yeah, but see, it's to take your point though, Torn, and like the aspect of somebody picking and choosing winners. This is a horrible, horrible thing, but it's a consequence of the technology. And if you limit people's ability to say, what I'm saying is that if anybody has the ability to stream anytime they want to, anywhere, who picks and chooses what's going to be viable to stream and what's not?
Well, right now it's the people that can afford to put ads on people's stuff.
Well, I'm not even talking about adding ad. I'm just talking about the aspect of we can have a stream here having a casual conversation, and 10 minutes from now I could take a gun out and blow my brains out and nobody could fucking do a thing about it.
Right. Yeah.
So who's responsible for that action? That's...
You are.
I am, but I'm saying...
As far as broadcasting it to the world, who's
broadcasting it to the world is what I'm saying. The Facebook has no control over that, but I guarantee somebody somewhere is going to really start questioning that kind of thing. I mean, we live in a world where less than 10 years ago, somebody showed a little bit of nipple on the Super Bowl and it kind of shut the country down and freaked everybody to fuck out. Now we've reached a point where we have people live streaming suicides. So that's a real interesting curve.
So you're saying that they should do something similar to what they did with live television and give that 5-minute waiting period to make sure nothing gets screwed up and somebody can sit there with a basically a button to turn it off?
Maybe like 8 seconds.
That's a
time lag.
That's the thing they were talking about on I think it was NPR, where they have algorithms that can evaluate things in a fraction of a second and determine if it's hostile or not, and maybe do something about it. And maybe that's where we're gonna head eventually. I don't know. Maybe it's not advanced enough.
I don't know, but it's like Shadow, for example, has a knife hanging on his back wall right behind him. I mean,
No, I know. Yeah.
Oh no, we're shut down. So
it would have to be very advanced. Yeah.
But see, that's the exact aspect though. Saul's exactly point is the aspect of any little thing. Then you're dealing with the aspect of censorship. What if I'm wearing a T-shirt that doesn't quell well with the people that may be running it? They may go, "Oh my God, he's wearing a T-shirt that says something."
I think the only way,
I
think the only way it's gonna really work is if people hop on and see this person is dangerous or gonna do them, and they just start flagging it, and then after it notices flags, it just stops the feed until it can be evaluated. Or
except for how many people would sit there and be like, "Oh, flag this," instead of saying, "What am I watching? What am I watching? Is this really happening? Is this gonna happen?"
Or it would just be abused.
There becomes the
like this person, I'm gonna flag it.
And therein lies the biggest issue.
I mean, there's that morbid.
Then it becomes the people who are offended by suicide making the choice on.
And that's why you would have to take it out of the hands of people and put it into an algorithm that
I think.
But see, now we're going back to the original point, though, where now we're
making decisions for everything.
But see, now we're going back to the original aspect, though, where we're taking it out of the aspect of a human's in hands, we're placing it into a program which has been designed by a human.
Of course.
So it's still going to be within the state.
There's still
you're still going to have to find some kind. Yeah, you're going to have to find a solution either way.
Wait, I want to take a step back here, but see, this is the exact point I'm bringing up. Is that it's a really, really deep, dark, nasty well, and Facebook's basically knee deep in it right now. So at some point, Facebook's going to really have to figure out how they're going to handle this, because it's going to become a big issue, and it may not be a huge issue right now because
that's why I think maybe they're trying to change the way we view social media.
I didn't even know about the Dundalk situation until work, because that one of the guys I work with actually knew the person that did it. So he kind of was like, "Did you see that? That thing on Facebook?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't fucking even pay attention to Facebook anymore." Yeah. And he showed me the video, and I was like, "Dude, that's just fun. It's fun. It's like 40 minutes long. It's just fucking hard. Either way, but it's one of those things where
curiosity kept you watching it."
No, I'm not going to say what I said.
Can you imagine if there'd been a popcorn popper in the corner?
What I'm saying is that I was surprised, because when I went around and looked at, see if anybody had a news story on it was nowhere. And that kind of concerned me a little bit, because I read a story here last week about the Filipino guy.
Was it real?
And that was,
That was real.
And it was one of those things where it's like that. I read that and I'm like, wow, that's the thing. And then I heard this one just like it happened Tuesday, and I'm like, I'm sure I'll see a story somewhere. And it was nowhere. And I was like, man, this is really it. That's not something that happens on a day-to-day basis, or it should.
That's weird. Yeah.
So that's something that somebody should have been like, hey, this is Wow.
Assuming
Second one
that
in so
their
many days,
privacy
you know?
settings weren't too high, and they could actually get on there and look at it. Other than that, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of videos. If your pictures are closed off, so people who aren't your friends, I'm sure they can do the same thing with their.
That's a very good point. You know more about Facebook than I do, obviously. On that.
All right,
But-
next topic.
I know about the privacy settings.
Speaking
Who doesn't
about
have 'em?
shitty people, a teen who created and ran a DDoS service called Titanium Stressor has been sentenced to 2 years in prison. His name was Adam Mudd, and he's from the UK. It was used on Minecraft, Microsoft Services, RuneScape, and on individual internet users.
RuneScape's still a thing?
Oh, yeah. Actually, if you're a Twitch Prime user, you can get a free, I think, month subscription to RuneScape. I think we should all join up.
You get a free DDoS attack.
I haven't played that in gosh, a long time. According to UK prosecutors, Mudd's Titanium Stressor service was used by others in more than 1.7 million denial of service attacks against victims worldwide,
Prolific.
with most countries in the world affected at some point. According to The Guardian, RuneScape's developers spent £6 million trying to fight the DDoS attacks. And apparently the kid has autism. I wonder where he is on the spectrum to be able to do such a sophisticated thing, but that was
Wait,
also
where
in
it
the
comes
article.
to the punishment, we're gonna say he's autistic, but where it comes to the genius that it takes to pull off, well, it doesn't
16 years
take.
old.
He wrote his own DDoS
He's
program though,
16
didn't he?
years old. Yeah.
How old is he?
Wait, so oh well,
I can't
And he was
hear
in
'cause
college
Lord
too,
keeps
wasn't
going,
I thought he said he was in maybe it was
He's
university.
all I hear
don't
he's
remember.
old.
16.
That's all I'm hearing. 16 years old.
16.
He's got to watch his Wapner.
So
Nobody
uh,
gets that fucking reference. Motherfucking God. I swear to shit.
nope, you're done.
So I wonder if this was like the one. Remember on Christmas Day that the Microsoft service went down for Xbox? I wonder if maybe that was the guy.
Could be.
Yeah, 1.7 million though. That's a shit
So-
ton.
So
Of
let me explain.
DDoSes.
Let me explain what's going to happen in this situation. He's going to go probably to a juvie or a very low security prison, do 2 years, and then go out and work for some company writing code,
Yeah.
and
Good
probably
for
get
him.
paid a lot of money. And I'm
Or-
talking a lot of money.
Or he'll never be able to touch a computer again.
Yeah, and then we have the theme for hackers.
He's making his way up the ladder.
He,
I'm glad somebody
he's
saw it.
16 years old. He
Yeah,
had,
I got that movie reference, motherfucker.
he
You couldn't
had,
get mine.
he had undiagnosed Asperger's,
Asperger's.
Asperger's.
That makes So he's
and
So he's
high
not
functioning
Rain Man.
autism. Super high functioning autism.
he was more interested in status in the online gaming community than money.
Yeah, that's
what
yeah.
he
That
said.
was the one thing. Yeah, 1.7 million DDoSes. though. He made a lot of money. You know, even at
Question.
$1 each.
Yeah, but doesn't
Whoa.
mean what did he do with the
Whoa.
money?
Okay, hold on. He made the program when he was 16. He's now 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I thought he was in university.
Yeah.
So he's an adult. He's not going to juvie. He's going to big boy prison for 2 years.
And he himself carried out 594 of the DDoS attacks against 181 IP addresses between December 2013 and March 2015.
So they were hitting the same target over and over and over again.
Well, I mean,
594 attacks, 181 targets. That means each one of them is getting hit like twice.
Yeah.
One best, at best. Yeah, if you're just kind of breaking it down.
or multiple targets during the same time.
Possibly, but it's still.
Yeah.
He was.
I mean,
hitting
if
the
you
same
did,
targets.
a whole shitload of
That-
people at once, it could be easy to do it that way. And I
Yeah,
have no
but
idea.
That probably
how to
tells me
DDoS.
that
On
the algorithm.
Minecraft,
That tells me that the algorithm more than likely was only really affecting on certain systems. 'Cause
Yeah,
it
if it
sounds
was
like
only
it
those
limited.
certain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got to figure out what they're attacking and
How?
and,
Yeah. It's.
and overload it. So moving on, everything has released on Steam.
There you go, Torn. Isn't that the one you were looking at?
that's the one with the like bears that flip
Yeah, the
around,
weird, the
right?
weird game, everything. Yeah, I
There you
wonder
go.
how much it is. We should see. We might be able to. We could play it as a group one night because it doesn't look
I
like
don't have
a game.
enough drugs.
You need to be heavily sedated to play that game. I just thought that was funny. Everything has released on Steam.
Wow, man. Wow.
In more exciting news, Summer Games Done Quick.
$14.99.
What was it? 19?
14.
Oh, 14. That's not too
$14.99.
bad. It's a very artistic game though for $15. I might wait till it goes on sale.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Summer sale will be coming up, and it'll probably go down the $9.99.
That's true. Yeah, it probably will.
And it
Yeah.
already has DLC.
How does a game called
Day
everything have
one
DLC?
DLC. What
How
the
does a
fuck
game
DLC
called-
does it have?
How does a game called
Obviously,
everything?
it's not everything.
A game called everything
They
is
should have changed to
DLC.
the something.
How is that possible?
That's
False
the ultimate.
advertising.
I'm sorry,
They
that
should
is
be
the ultimate.
sued.
That's the ultimate joke right now. Everything with DLC.
That is
It
hilarious.
contains
Even more of everything.
it's everything with now the DLC package of something and followed by
The DLC is $6.99, and you can bundle it together for 10% off for $19.78.
what's the DLC called?
Everything.
OS,
Everything else.
What is it called?
Everything OST.
OST.
Yeah, that's the sound.
That's the soundtrack.
soundtrack.
You probably get. You probably
Oh,
get the
official
audio.
soundtrack.
Way to go!
Yeah.
Yeah, DLC. Okay, we got false advertisement here from Saul.
I don't know what OST
I
is.
What's
wouldn't
the
have-
OST? It's the
Yeah,
official
no.
soundtrack.
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked up that acronym.
Ugh.
The fact that they call it DLC is funny.
It is called DLC on
Yeah.
here.
Who? I guess somebody wants to listen to the
It's all
soundtrack.
all the soundtracks are actually.
Isn't that the
listed as
game that has the
DLC.
person like talking about philosophy in the background or something?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
So that's what the soundtrack is, an audiobook,
Yeah,
more or less.
Probably.
In more exciting news, Summer Games Done Quick schedule has been posted. The event is starting on July 2nd. Don't roll your eyes. I saw they have the new, what is it, Near...
Automata.
what?
Automata or
Yeah,
whatever
that's
is.
it. They're going to have that as the first game. I saw Halo, the first Halo, on the first day. It was like an hour. It's a pretty quick playthrough of that game. But yeah, I saw that the new Zelda's not going to be on there, which was somewhat disappointing. But I guess they're probably waiting for winter so that they can have a good rundown by that point in time. And the cutoff date for submitting was like a week after the game came out or something like that, which makes sense. They didn't want to get it done then, but it would have been nice to see it.